3 things you must do to sell your business. Hi, I'm Josh Horn with Horn Valuation. I help business owners and attorneys with business valuation and building business value. So it can be tempting to get sucked into all the things you need to do to sell your business. So I'm going to distill it down into 3 things that you have to do to get this done. High-level stuff that has to be done. Step back, go, okay, what do you have to do right now to make sure that this actually happens? The first thing I would recommend you do is make sure your business is cash flow positive. It is generating cash flows. It is more than paying the bills. There is cash left over at the end of the month, at the end of the year. Now, that's not sales. That's not even profit. It's cash flow. So that's after you pay for everything after taxes. And surprisingly, I run into a lot of businesses that don't realize that they are not actually generating positive cash flow. Now, you may be in an operating cycle where maybe you're in the downswing and maybe in this particular year you're not generating positive cash flow. But within, say, a 3 to 5 year operating cycle, you should really want to make sure that your business is generating positive cash flow. Sometimes I find that in some cases, because of tax-driven motivations, the business is actually generating positive cash flow after some adjustments. Sometimes it simply isn't, and it's living off debt. It's living beyond its means. So you have to establish that first, and that takes me to the next thing, which is find a buyer. Because if you don't generate positive cash flows, there's no sense in going out and looking for a buyer, because they are going to pay you back or pay the bank back with the cash flows that the business generates. If the business doesn't generate any cash flows, it's probably worth the assets less the liabilities, which means you're not going to have a buyer and you're not going to need a business valuation. You've just basically got the liquidation value of the business, and that's not going to support you in your retirement and the other things that you want to do after you sell it. So make sure it's generating positive cash flow so you can go out and find that buyer, or buyers ideally. Buyers, real buyers. Now, sometimes I find out through accidental things, and I'm in a fairly small community, and sometimes I find out by accident that sometimes the buyer that the person has identified, they're not as interested in buying that business as the owner thinks they are. And that may be a shock to them. So the owner has identified someone they think is going to buy the company, and that buyer is not as excited about it. Make sure that there is excitement on both sides, and that it's a real buyer if you're trying to sell your business. Ideally more than one, because you always need a backup plan, right? Finally, get help. Get a team together, all right? No one person can solve this problem alone. And at a minimum, you're probably going to need your accountant, your tax accountant, to prepare your financial statements, tax returns. You may need a bank to finance the deal. You may need a valuation specialist like me to value the company. Hopefully, you're not just winging that. You may need a business broker to market the business, to find more buyers, potential buyers for the business. You're going to want an attorney to write up the contract, do some legal due diligence on the deal. You may want an insurance agent, a financial advisor, and on and on and on. I rarely see this work where you don't have at least 2 to 3 professionals. Work with people that have done this before. All right? This is a big deal. This isn't like buying a cup of coffee or going out for a meal, and you're not going to get it solved by just spending a couple of bucks. Because really likely in the neighborhood of the businesses that I typically value, they're typically $300,000 to $1 million businesses. So the work that's going to take to pull that off is going to require a team of experts and a fair amount of time to get that done. This is Josh Horn of Horn Valuation. These are 3 things you can do today to make sure your business gets sold. Have a great day.